want a sandwich. Now. Oh, sandwich wench. Yo, wench. Sandwich. Now. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. Sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. Sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. Oh, sandwich wench. I want a sandwich. Sandwich. Hi everyone, welcome back. We are running a little late today, sorry about that. Welcome to another political recap stream. I'm just going to put the sources for today up here out of the way. That way I can see everything. And drag us here. Trups isn't here yet. He's on his way, but he's, I assume, getting coals for his shisha thing. Doodah, whatchamacallit. So at the moment, it's just me. Yes. Anyway, yes. So today we've got a few subjects to go through, and fingers crossed, they're interesting enough to you. While we wait for Trups, I'm gonna read from one because, well, I'm intrigued enough. There have been of late in the United Kingdom an increased number of people defecting to the Party of Reform. Now, there's nothing wrong with that on the face of it. There really isn't. There is a problem, though, when they're all conservative, because then you are just essentially telling everyone that reform isn't really reform per se, but akin to that of New Labour when Tony Blair won. New Labour was the name for the Labour Party for a time, because it was a new, younger people. It was a whole new guard. The old guard had served its time in opposition to Margaret Thatcher and John Major, and they were replaced by Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, who was the single most dour and boring person to ever exist in politics ever. He also destroyed the economy. Not that he likes taking credit for it. I can't imagine why. Well, where is the source? No, that's China. Here we go. Suella Braverman. She is the now newest member to defect to Reform. She was once, if you didn't know, the former Home Secretary, and she's gone the latest. She's the newest member, really. She's a big thing on the right of the party in the last government, and she was seen. She's long been seen as a potential defector to Reform anyway. And this isn't including the fact someone who was in the shadow cabinet was just fired from the party because he was going to leave anyway. Yeah. Zahawi as well as another one. He left the Conservatives as well because they all believe that the Conservatives are essentially too weak to save themselves. Hello, Bri, Kendall, and David. I see that Trups is here, so let me just say hello to Trups. Good evening, Trups. We're live. Marvelous. How are you?
Did you hear it that time?
I heard you go, oh.
Yeah, I did that plus the
oh, right.
Dr. Pepper opening.
But
it did not work.
It probably did get heard by... I was obsessed with the moaning. I was enjoying it too much. How was Trups?
Good. Yeah. Oh, I'm okay. I suddenly everything I have to run around and do.
That's understandable. What happens.
Things. I've also been sick all week.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Are you okay now?
Yes, I blame my wife. Basically, well, she works at a card store, so therefore,
it's just people.
One person gets sick, then the next person gets sick, and that's why I'm not good.
It's a horrible cycle, isn't it?
It's terrible.
So I was I'm very sorry to hear all that. I hope you're fully recovered now, at
I
least.
will. I will persevere.
Good. I was just talking about a subject. I put a number of topics on the title because I wasn't entirely sure where we were gonna go. I put on the
Yeah.
title "Lemon Arrested, Keir Begs China, US Shutdown." That's more of a question though, and more reform. Defections, and I'm starting with the defections because, well, it intrigues me. Um,
Sure.
yeah. So as I was saying, that Suella Braverman, she's won the she won the newly created Fareham and Waterlooville seat with a considerable margin, but nowhere near the margin she had in the previous constituency. Whereas before she had a margin of 26,000, it's now 6. There's still a sizable number of people. Hi, Leona. Hope you're eating. She was considered at a time a potential candidate to run in the leadership race, but she didn't when, Rishi Sunak was stepping down. Most people believe because of because of Nigel Farage being very pro Brexit, as everyone knows. She, Nadeem Zahawi, and others that have joined also being mostly Brexit types, that the party is becoming more just what Conservatives should be. So what's the opposition doing? They're doing the same regurgitated shite of, yes, but Farage man bad. And so offering anything to the conversation, they're not. But one thing that has to happen now is that this is leading into, with more defections, more people discussing when the next general election should happen. Right now, the Labour Party still have a ginormous majority. Of course they do. However, their grip on reality is changing since they now want to give us a British FBI, which is the single dumbest thing you could ever do in this country, ever. On top of that, and I mentioned elections on purpose, 30 English councils have delayed elections now. These delays are kind of going on until until 2027, which is pissing a lot of people off because these delays are seen as a stalling tactic for reform. Yeah? I don't mind. Hello, Dragon Mama and Orla. And Orla, no, I had not seen that. Hello, Marley Cat as well. I have no issue with stalling them if you have a good reason. However, the reasoning for this is not good enough. It is a delay that could and would disenfranchise voters and nothing more. It's also called negating democracy. These councils are due elections, and while the government think it's their way of abolishing authorities and just like rejigging things, really, you're trying to bully people into voting a different way, as if this government doesn't have enough power as it is. This country's too small for the amount of powers they have. As far as I'm concerned, these councils should have their elections. The argument, the rejig of the local government will seek to replace a two-tier system of district and county. The government said some councils were concerned about their capacity to run the polls alongside the overhaul of town halls. How about you just build a bridge and get over it? Because you have a job to do, and quite frankly, enough councils have been doing this ever since Labour got in that this looks very undemocratic. It does not matter if you can't cope with change. It matters that you adhere to the rules when it comes to elections and term times. You have no choice in that. You must do them. If you don't, then you are not giving the people what they are due, and that is the right to decide who governs. No person should have that kind of power to stop it, ever. And I'll include during times of war as well. Although generally during times of war, we go with the person who's in charge because we feel safer with that person there. Unless their name is Keir Starmer. Although it doesn't help that when it came to the councils that Reform took over, most of them have either ignored their councils or have been removed from their council. That is true. But that doesn't change 30 councils are due to have elections. Does not change that. There are 136 local elections that are meant to be happening across England that were scheduled for May. They claim the vast majority are going to go ahead as planned. That's not entirely true, because 30 of them are still a lot. I mean, you can argue about vast majority, I guess, in that respect, but still, 30 is too many. Too many that are being ignored. I don't care what anyone says. You don't get to decide that. And I don't care about people's claims of ties with Russia and shite. It means nothing to me, Ola. My care is that Labour are the ones that have decided this. I don't care that Nigel Farage is a part of this. I don't care. The people have the right to decide. The government does not get to decide when the people get to decide. That's not okay. No government should have that power. And hi, Lulu. Hope you're well. Anyway, I thought I'd start with that because I didn't know when Trups would get back. Because it intrigues me. And I thought, yes, let's do that. So, to the next subject, I wanted to ask Trups about, is there a potential government shutdown coming? Because what I'm seeing so far would indicate that, man, your Democrats are absolute assholes that need to stop fucking on purpose to stall the current president.
Well, I guess that depends on what they could see to gain
This is how
by
you know
doing
just,
so.
it sounds like insider trading.
Well, yes, always.
Go on.
So, like, from what I understand, this government shutdown is about the continuing resolution. Government shutdown 26.
I've seen people on
'Cause
Twitter talk
we-
about this, and on Twitter, people are like, "It's going to happen, and it's happening because," and it looks like it appears to many on Twitter and Threads as a intentional stall tactic to stop Trump from doing what he's to do.
Spending.
Yeah,
For DHS and ICE. Okay.
yeah. Oh, the ice subject.
So, yeah, there you go. Right.
Man, that is a yeah. Well, that'll lead to Don Lemon later.
Well,
And
so
Hassan.
right now, apparently, they started advancing legislation to fund the government, breaking an impasse that had held up the measure. But
Okay.
there is GOP infighting
Okay.
that is contributing to this issue. They've yet to come to a vote after they convene today at 11. But Lindsey Graham is taking the floor, said he's holding up a vote on the government funding until he gets a guarantee the Senate will vote on legislation he supports, including targeting so-called sanctuary policies that limit local communities' cooperation with federal employees. I don't like that, honestly. I've actually started to hate on Lindsey Graham more and more as the years have gone on.
Lindsey Graham was, when I remember a few years back, he was very well respected by a number of people because of his willingness to like just say the right thing.
Back when he was saying the right thing, though.
Seemed
now he's doing the politician thing, right? He's saying what needs to be said to keep him in office.
If you're that desperate for a performance review, why don't you just go get a performance review instead and not worry so much about that? Do your damn job.
Well, he's in a very safe district, unfortunately. It's hard to get him out of here. But as far as the government shutdown goes, this ICE thing is a massive hold for everybody, because on the one hand you have very real like the very real possibility that like we'll never get anything passed to actually absolve the current social dynamics surrounding ICE.
Yeah,
that's a very real possibility because some of these politicians are looking at their potential, midterm elections.
Midterms are coming up, yeah. That should be interesting this year, shouldn't it?
this year, in
So,
fact.
a quick thing from the chat. Democrats are so useless they fought hard to prevent Bernie Sanders from winning the nomination. Bernie should have won it back in 2016. He should have been the winner
True.
for the party. I firmly believe it, but man, they sought every option to try and get him out, and that sucked. And Dragon Mama, what level of government is a council? A council is like what do you call it? Like
County.
sorry?
County?
Yeah, it's like yeah, because
A
you're
district that contains several towns, but not necessarily.
yeah, it's a county basically. Our counties are, but then those counties have councils within them as well sometimes as well. So it's an oddity.
That's fair for here as well.
I guess if you thought of our counties like Surrey, Kent, Sussex, West Sussex, East Sussex, Lincolnshire, Gloucestershire, Norfolk, Suffolk, all those individual names are states, like US states, right? And then within those are a number of councils as a whole, right? And those councils are like your counties. That's basically what it is. But they don't carry much power really. But governments have given them some power to like determine expenditure and stuff. The sad thing about UK counties, and I hope Ola will agree with me on this one, councils waste their money, man. And they're usually bankrupt because of how stupid they are with money. They really are. The amount of potholes I've seen recently is pissing me off now. Anyway, yeah, back to the US thing.
Try driving on them.
My sister did a week ago when she took my nephew to school, and the amount of potholes my head hit the ceiling over was insane. I hated it.
Sounds about right.
In a chuckle bus, no less. A transit converted into a minibus. We call it the chuckle bus here. But no, the shutdown thing. Sorry, carry on. My apologies.
No, basically, I don't think that we're going to see an actual shutdown because they keep really ignoring some of the historical like Democratic positions, being that like it wasn't long ago that Democrats actually did believe that immigration was a thing. They keep floating these videos of Obama talking about what what it means for people who come in, break the law, jump in line. Like these are not nothing issues. These do actually have laws and procedures and policies that follow through with it. Just because the people in the street don't like it, it's a different story. With the realization recently that the politicians were involved in organizing some of these protests, I would not be surprised if we find out later, or sooner rather, that there is going to be there's a quiet under the table kind of conversation between federal government and state government saying, listen here, we're going to do this and you are going to help us and we'll do it under your terms, but if you don't, things will not go well, which is with the ICE retreating slightly from Minnesota, a lot of people are either speculating that Trump has reached a deal with folks like Tim Walz and Jacob Frey, the mayor of Minneapolis.
Is Tim Walz still the governor?
Yes.
Okay. And Marley Cat, you owe no apology for spamming. You clearly invested in the subject. I have no... When it comes to ICE, for example, I'm English. I really don't have a horse in the race. I'm watching. I just know there's a few misunderstandings. I let people have their opinions on it because, well, we have our own stuff in England, and quite frankly, it pisses me off enough as it is. Trump has that. That's not a good thing to joke about. But then at the same time, it is quite common for sitting presidents to lose the House during the midterms. In fact, it's so ridiculously common. It's a cliche at this point.
Unfortunately, the infighting with the GOP is between folks who are still loyal to the original, like, grand old party, the original, like, Republicans, the the ones who are probably in
Old
their
guard.
70s. Yeah.
They need
And
to change with the
what the new
times.
populist right is, which is folks like JD, like what Trump is trying to curry favor with, but also Byron Donalds, people like him, um, who are really speaking about what the people want.
I'm curious to see
The
if
actual populist
I'm curious to see
opinions.
if JD Vance is going to run in a couple of years.
I'm sure he will. I believe he is the shoe-in candidate
Really?
for.
They still
Oh
think.
yeah,
I keep seeing Kamala saying she's going to run again.
yeah, but that's an entirely different party.
Harris. Yeah, I know, but it's like, please don't. You weren't a good candidate last time. Get someone who actually
uh,
cares about the country for a change.
no.
And didn't leave people on death row when they shouldn't have been there. And use people as literal slaves when they were the attorney general of a state. Sorry,
Yeah, well, I mean,
you want decent
you would
people.
have to have a population that actually thinks well of the people that she used as slave labor.
Yeah.
And we know that Democrats have a soft bigotry of low expectations when it comes to racism.
So one of the things, and Kendall, I agree with you. By the way, I hope for the best this year. I really do as well. Um, I feel that to remove a level of stress that I don't want to feel, I have to. When I see things like this and the subject of ICE, my older sister saw the ICE thing and she was angry about it. She was blaming Trump for it and all this. And I had to say, it's not our country. Why are we putting that burden on our shoulders? It's for them to discuss. And if they voted for that, they voted for that. It's not our. We can judge a little because we don't have guns, but ultimately we also don't have freedom. We don't get to decide as often as they do on who runs things, and we don't get to decide where money is spent. Our country voted in a government solely on conservative hate, and not because of anything in their manifesto that resonated with the voters, because the moment they had the chance, they stabbed them in the back. And the most recent victims of that, and if you're English, you'll know this, are the waspy women who are getting fucked over by the very party who said they would protect their pensions the moment they go into office, in fact. So, color me surprised. When it comes to what's going on over there, it's fascinating, but and of course I don't want anyone to get hurt, of course not. I'm not going to justify what's happened. I've heard about the deletion from existence incidents,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a mandate here, and somebody got voted in with that being one of his focal topics. Although the lack of release of the Epstein files unredacted is arguably one of the most egregious things he hasn't done.
Well, they did announce today that they were going to release grand jury testimony.
I mean, that's better than nothing, but it's still not the whole thing.
Well, the grand jury testimony was something that they had kept under lock and seal for a very
Okay.
long time.
Well, progress, I guess, isn't it?
It's a lot more in depth evidence explanation, and a lot more exploration of like details. Grand jury testimony is quite often much heavier protected.
Yeah. And Marley Cut, that's fair. Mercifully, I'm heavily regarded. Change the G for a T, so it's quite safe. Hello, HIV1. Hope you're well. We may have an orange, but you had the lettuce. You lot had the lettuce. Hey, what's wrong with Boris? Boris is all right. So you're referring to Boris? I like Boris. Boris was funny. He tickled me. He changed ping pong for whiff waff, and it was a great conversation listening to him educate everyone on the origins of ping pong. He's great.
All I can think about is the fucking clip with oh god, why can't I think of his name? Christopher Walken from Balls of Fury.
Oh, such a good movie.
Oh my god, if you don't know that movie, it's a
It's a good movie.
a parody
It is.
movie.
I like the movie.
It's fucking funny.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Definitely aged poorly given current standards, but funny nonetheless.
Hello, Michael. Hope you. Oh, Liz Truss. Sorry, I forgot Liz Truss was a thing. She was there for like 42 days. Of course, I'm not going. Oh, not even that. I couldn't remember. I thought you meant Boris. My mistake. I thought I don't. I couldn't remember Liz Truss because she got in, tanked the. Well, she okay. She didn't tank the economy per se. You would like to say that she had an economic policy that caused harm. It was immediately reversed. Damage, yes, was done temporarily. We recovered. All right.
I mean, when you're when you're facing an issue, you kind of have to try different stuff.
Yeah, you do. It
Like, obviously, you can't just try the same thing that's happened every time because
agreed.
clearly it wasn't working.
It didn't work at all then, though, did it?
No.
It's still. It doesn't matter. I'm intrigued to see because with what you're dealing with right now as a country, it's a bit. Yeah, I think for the sake of what Trump has to do, if he wants to win the midterms or retain the House, he retains the House. He has an unfettered access term that he'll get to finish without being bullied by Democrats who will, the moment they win back the House, they will stonewall him and he won't get anything done for the remaining 2 years. Then again, as everyone knows, the first 100 days are the only days in a presidency where you actually get anything done. That's proven true statistically over the generations. The first 100 days are the ones that matter the most. And in the first
So
100 days, he was very active.
that was why Trump had come out, I think it was a month or so ago, and said that the Republicans have to win the midterms, otherwise he will be impeached. It's not necessarily that he will be impeached and removed. It's that they will tie up all legislation
Impeached for a
activities
third time.
into a third time into just seeking out this information and just doing this, which is their onus to do so, totally, but is it really moving anybody's life forward? Is it, or is it just giving the people who demand something
Mm.
something to watch and to
Right.
look at? For me, it looks like it's placating the voracious mob.
And all no, I didn't remember that. It's how inconsequential she was as prime minister. I'd completely forgotten it. Um, and by the way, just to be clear, um, I do want to see. I guess the idealist attitude I've always had. People not because your system is so fucking corrupt, man. It's always about
Mine?
self-serving. It's so self-serving. My politics,
Mhm.
yes, but not like yours. Yours is just if it's competition, you guys win for being more corrupt. It's never about serving people. It's about poning people for sound bites. It's
There
it's
was
it's
there was a
acting.
reason.
It's acting without going to actors school.
There was a reason why our forefathers did not want a two-party system.
Yeah,
This is one of those reasons.
it's unfortunate it's like that, but then it'd be unlikely any within our lifetimes. I don't think it'll happen. There will ever be
Oh, it
um,
won't change.
there won't be a libertarian party as a third suitable third, and I doubt there'd ever be a green either. To be fair, it's just not likely. It really isn't.
They don't have the
Um,
funding.
so
And the funding means like from corporations
yeah.
which back their campaigns.
Do you think then there will be a shutdown?
No,
Okay, that answers my question because I'd seen people
I think
query
they're going
that
to bitch and moan for a while.
people have been posting these graphs on Twitter, and I forgot to save them because they seem to imply that the intention was to try and cause it so that you could then stonewall the president up until
I
the
mean,
midterms, which is far too long to do that.
I don't think that they would dare
That's a
after what happened with the last shutdown
yeah.
and like how poorly it reflected on the country as a whole.
Hmm.
I don't think that they would dare do something like that.
And Kendall, I would pay to see Trump versus Rosie O'Donnell in any kind of debate, as long as it wasn't being hosted by any of the left-leaning or right-leaning media outlets. I just want it streamed to Twitter, and you can find some random hobo to adjudicate the whole thing.
Mm.
Why? Because the hobo just wants a hot meal. Give them chimkin; they are happy. All right, maybe a nice coat.
Yes.
Okay, so next on the agenda, I guess we may as well go to him. would be a certain Lemon of Don, who was
Oh yeah.
arrested after anti-ICE protests at the Minnesota church.
Mhm.
Because he filmed anti-immigration enforcement protesters as they disrupted a service, I believe.
Because he followed them to do said thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why this arrest matters, and also it's not just a judge doing it; it was a grand jury
Yeah.
indictment. The reason why it's significant is because originally he tried to play it off as if he didn't like know what was gonna go down when he was first confronted about this issue.
Yeah.
But his own video shows him not only meeting with the people, but telling about the operation, alluding to its impact. And not only that, but a week prior, he had the organizer of said protest on his show.
Right.
So it's hard to believe that he genuinely did not have an idea of what was about to happen.
HIV1 says arrested under the KKK Act. The hell is
Yes.
that?
It is an act that basically prevents the
I'm smiling at this idea. I'm smiling at
disruption
this.
of religious ceremonies, essentially.
Oh, okay. The
Because
KKK
KKK
Act.
used to go and harass black churches.
Oh, really? So again, not as much thing over here. Did not know that. I'm smiling at this idea of a KKK Act. Considering I'm looking at a picture of Don Lemon right now. I'm thinking he doesn't look like the right person. But
Basically, it says it makes certain acts committed by private persons federal offenses, including conspiring to deprive people of their equal protection, which in this case, him conspiring with the people to actually go and disrupt a church service.
yeah. So there is a let's see. Oh, posted to Don Lemon's Instagram a comment from I believe a lawyer or some kind for him. Who said Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. And Don, in his own defense, had said, once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it.
But they went before the protest. It wasn't like, so this is the problem. Like, the concept is okay, cool.
Right.
There was a protest, so we reported on it. Different than if I went with the protesters ahead of time, knowing there was going to be a protest at a church.
Okay.
Like that's the difference in the logic,
Okay.
and that's why it's significant.
So does this I'm gonna it comes across to some as if Don Lemon has become a political prisoner of sorts.
Sure. Okay.
Others say he has broken the law and therefore deserved this. Who's correct?
Well, it's going to really depend on your personal opinion about the
Yeah.
individuals.
Hello, Okinator, by the way. I hope you're well.
I wish I could say that it was just based on like, oh yes, this is objectively X, Y, or Z.
I see a lot
on
of
the
people
one side of
laugh at
things,
this.
you see one side that basically is saying, oh, you know, these people are doing constitutionally protected rights against what they view as injustice.
Mm-hmm.
The other side is saying that quite literally you are harassing people inside their place of worship because somebody had a tie to immigration's custom enforcement, and that somehow makes them a fair target for these kinds of interruptions.
So this leans into the websites that now exist that are doxing members of ICE, doesn't it?
Similar. It's a similar idea.
Yeah, and I'm not okay with that, by the way. They're there to perform a duty. They don't go after them to scare them. No, there's something reeks of wrong here. I'm sure there's a great way of explaining it, but don't do that. Okay. So there's that line then, and I have to query it when you're a journalist and you're doing that in a place of worship. It feels like it doesn't feel right. A slap on the wrist, perhaps. You need to get the fuck out and stop doing that. But being arrested might be a bit too much. I know a lot of people have been laughing about this, and I will admit, Don Lemon is a moron. He's very funny,
Well,
but he just can't. I'm sorry, but I think objectively, I think he's a bit of a moron.
don't forget, he's also a predator.
I don't know anything about
There
that.
were people. There were people who alleged him.
So we'll say allegedly.
Very inappropriately harassing them at a bar during New Year's Eve. I want to say about 2 or 3 years ago.
That's not good. That's alleged just for the sake of it, because we're not gonna. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah,
good.
we're not going to rehash that now. But
yeah,
that was one of the issues that led to his firing as well, because he also tended to drink.
Or a lot of people have been doctoring photographs of that event. I've seen some of the other ones. It's not just the Trump administration as often touted. I have seen others, and it's why I don't like.
It's not even like photographs. We just used the video that he posted.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like his own video is his own smoking gun.
It's an interesting one, though, isn't it?
It is, and realistically, the only reason why it would be significant in a larger like context is because finally Don has the ability to. Well, he had the ability to actually approach this as a journalist.
I have to let dogs out back in a sec.
Yeah. If he had approached this from the perspective of, hey, they are going to go and perform a protest, and he didn't actually walk in with cameras at the start, because like the whole thing feels very odd. You guys know whenever you're like watching a TikTok video and it's supposed to be like a certain thing that is happening, but if you take a step away and you realize that somebody is fucking holding a camera, and who the fuck does not realize that someone is holding a camera in this situation, it feels a lot like that. Because how in the hell is anybody going to not realize something is occurring when Don goes in with his cameraman to a church service, and everyone knows who Don is? Like no one's like, oh my god, who's Don Lemon? If they have any like media in the last 5 years, they know who Don Lemon is. You're gonna have a whole bunch of people go in, and then by the organizer's own opinions or by her own statements, they went in, they sat down, they took part in the service. Then when the pastor was giving his prayer, she stood up, she asked some questions, at which point then everybody else. Thank you, Okie Native Don won 2014 Worst Journalist of the Year, Lemon. Yes, I remember that a long, long time ago, but you are right. That did happen. But they got up after the lead organizer addressed the pastor, asked them questions about the other pastor who had ties. I believe he was I want to say an accountant or a financial person for ICE in the area. Then everybody got up and started getting involved. The biggest disturbance person wasn't even the lead organizers. It was that fucking dude with the beard who was going around putting their camera in people's faces, quite literally calling them shitty Christians for sipping a latte while sitting on the pews. As if that was somehow a damning thing, saying, oh my God, you follow a pastor in a suit? Does Jesus wear a suit? I'm sitting here watching this man's video and I'm going, you're unstable. That you're an unstable person for doing that. And that's not even the lead organizer. So to even have that person along for the ride did not help.
Okie Native, thank you for the super chat. Don won 2014 Worst Journalist of the Year, Lemon.
You
Thank
did.
you very
I remember
much.
that.
I didn't know that. That's funny. Let's see. Where were we? Oh yeah. So
Oh, I was talking.
to ask about the protesting, because I guess it's going to have to be. I'm not as knowledgeable. Do you think it's going to die down anytime soon or not?
Just generally the ICE protests?
Yeah,
No.
I don't think they will. I think because I saw a couple of videos during the week of people complaining, wishing more people were energized on the subject, and annoyed that people weren't. And I feel like, yes, if you're educated or uneducated, there's too much pressure in. There's too much pressure on your shoulders if you get too invested. People want to live their lives, and they don't want to. They don't want to always be invested in that. And I get it, 100%. To be honest, I don't want to get involved. I can avoid it anyway. Oh shit! I've lost my train of thought.
Mally
Oh,
has a good
go on.
point in the chat saying civil obedience shouldn't have a specific location. Correct, but it does,
That reeks of all.
and there's a
So
reason. There's a
yeah,
reason why.
it feels.
It's because people have abused that.
Yeah, it sets it up to then make a martyr out of something else. It's a smokescreen. It's not a healthy one either. It's a very.
Well,
It's a crappy.
worse yet, though, because that is what the KKK Act was. It wasn't about people who were like getting involved in civil disobedience. No, no, no. It was people who were, by their very existence, being inside of black churches, intimidating people. Like, you had a bunch of people going into black churches at that era, sitting down and making every person in that room very, very uncomfortable, to the
Mm-hmm.
point where they were feeling as if they could not actively actually exercise their rights. So yeah, I'm sure civil disobedience, if you believe it to be valid or just, sure, but that's the problem, is that the bad people also think that they're right and just and valid.
Yeah,
And
no,
some of
I
them
get you.
aren't. Like, that's just how it is. Like, some
Yeah,
of them are wrong.
I
You
remember.
don't get to do this.
I remember during Trump's first term, there were the fires everywhere. That was horrible. People were ignoring it and treating it as if it didn't matter. This time they treat it as if it does matter, but this time he has a lot more support than last time. And people voted for this. Not the consequences of fall. I mean, I will admit it's a bit optically looks like dog shit. And there are people who. I'm not saying anyone deserves that. We had this discussion with the woman in the car. Do you remember that? And
Oh,
it's.
Renee, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's.
no one deserves to die for
No
these
one does.
situations.
Agreed.
But the problem is that you put yourself in a risky situation, and there are consequences to risky decisions. Should it be what happens? No. Is it likely? Yes. It is the same reason why somebody will not wear, or here's a good one. Where do you put your wallet when you put it in your pants? In your back pocket or your
Yeah,
front pocket?
back pocket.
Why do you put it in your back pocket?
Because when I sit on it, it doesn't hurt. I don't
Is it
break
large
it.
enough that you would feel it?
Yes. Yeah, I'd feel my wallet.
If somebody were to try and take it from you, would you notice?
Instantaneously. Although it is also connected to my belt. If someone did that, I'd feel it and instantly
Oh,
clasp them.
there is an entire school of thought as to how you avoid pickpockets.
So when
Right?
I'm in London, I
This is
don't do it there. I put
oh
it in
yeah.
a pocket by my knee. I have cargoes when I go to
Mhm.
London, and the pocket is zipped and then locked.
Would you consider it a risky behavior if you didn't do that?
Yes.
And by the risk, I mean the risk of you losing that wallet.
Oh yeah. And there's also a risk of people cloning your cards if you get too close. So
These
I have a card
are
protector as well.
these are risks that people understand exist and
Hmm.
take precautions to avoid.
Yeah.
Even Alex Preddy, being the person who went to a protest with a firearm, I will tell you, as a firearm owner, as a concealed carry holder, this is a fucking terrible idea.
Is it?
I fully believe in your right to keep and bear arms, and carry is your God given right.
Mm,
I'm all down for that.
hmm
However, you will put yourself in a position if you are going there to protest, to resist police that you believe is valid and a righteous thing to do. If you're going to go and do that, and you're going to bring a gun, I've looked at this situation and I believe it to be more suicide by cop than anything else. I
A,
think he was trying to get killed.
a lot of people have been very angry about what happened to him. And I will admit, because of what I've been doing, I didn't watch it. I didn't want to watch it. I'd heard
Mhm.
multiple different perspectives on it. Death by cop was one. The other was that, you know, they just did it and shot him. That's it. That's what happened. I don't I don't think that's what happened. I think there's more to it, and I wish it was perhaps not as yeah. I
There
wish it
there
was,
is there is such a there's that whole situation is so fucked
it
because you
is.
have 5 or 6 dudes who are wrestling with homie, right? You have one guy who disarms him, right, and takes the gun away.
Yeah.
Somebody in that pile yells gun. Don't know, likely not the guy who disarmed him, but maybe somebody who saw it. Didn't know. And again, remember, if you're in a scuffle, right? 6 dudes are on top of you. Your vision is like less than 5%,
Right.
right? You got nothing, right?
Right. Okay.
Um, you hear gun, and you hear a gun go off. You're gonna shoot.
I really
I'm sorry,
wish
you're going to shoot.
I don't like these protests worry me a lot because a lot of innocent people and they are innocent to an extent, they're going to get hurt going to war with a federally approved body that is there to enact a edict, a rule to inhibit their ability to, and you get caught in it. I will not justify your death. I will not do that. But you're going to get
Mhm.
hurt, and I don't want you to get hurt. This is martyr territory, and it
Mhm.
doesn't need to be martyr territory. And if they have no formal de-escalation training, you especially should not be engaging with them in that way. Then Marley Cat
Yeah,
in the
but
chat has
if
written
that
that
if that's true, and if everybody knows that, then
you should
you're
not.
putting yourself even more at
Yeah,
risk.
you should not. I'm not saying you can't protest. Of course not. You have inalienable rights that we in the UK don't have.
Go, go do protests.
Yeah,
It's fine.
100%. But you've got to be
Don't
peaceful.
fucking fight with police.
Like the right wing was calling him a
You're going
hero.
to get hurt
He
at
was
the
opening.
very least.
I
You're
think
gonna
he
get
was trying
hurt,
to make himself
and
a
we
mark.
don't want you to get hurt,
Well,
man.
this is where I like the divisive perspective on this because I don't know what to think on this one. I just know that when it comes to, I don't do guns. Obviously, I don't know English, but I don't like them that much. I like Nerf guns or gel blasters because they're fun. But when it comes to something that can take a life, like lightning, I'm going to avoid it.
And that's not a bad opinion to have. Like, some people like guns, some people don't like guns. It's fine. Don't have a gun.
Yeah.
We understand as people who do guns. It's fine. Like, again, my wife is more knowledgeable and more skilled and has more guns than I do.
Mm.
Like,
Um.
that is my tiny ass, like, 100-pound wife
Yeah.
is better at guns than me, right? This is just part of how one lives their
Mm.
life. Okay. That being said, even she understands that having a gun in that situation
Yeah.
was a piss poor idea.
Hmm.
Um, and that is a person who is already traumatized to the point of she thinks everyone is out to get her.
So, quick thing from the chat. Uh, ICE are not the police; they're Border Customs Enforcement. That is true, and they're supposed to de-escalate situations, not instigate them. I'm going to be that guy because this is something I do remember. Considering how the US police are treated in different states and counties, apparently your police instigate them all the time anyway. So then ICE are no different from your police, from what I keep being told. And from what I learnt over the 8 or 9 years now we've been doing this. That's not, again, a justification, just to be clear. But there is a level of reactiveness that I wish was never there. I wish it wasn't always a case of just act. You sometimes really do need to simmer down, but oh, man,
I agree.
it's just
I wish the circumstance would allow them to.
I wish it would too.
Like, if you really want to like put yourself in their shoes, you have a populace who hates you. You have a populace who wants to fight you. You have a population who does not believe that what you're doing is right at all. Let's say you are the best, most righteous person on ICE. You genuinely believe in like what you're doing is correct, and you want to do right by the people, right? Give them the benefit of the doubt. You have a population who wants you gone, and at best never doing what you're doing ever again. However you want to take that.
So, according to Pew Research, there are an estimated 90,000 unauthorized immigrants in the Minneapolis metro area. Now, dozens of the other metro areas have larger numbers. This is the one that matters. 90,000 people. Now, granted, Minneapolis, Minnesota, that state voted, I believe, blue. However,
Yeah,
many blue states have a significant portion of those who are illegally in your country. Your president had a mandate, and his included getting rid of them. He charged Tom Homan with dealing with this, and he has been very clear on this. If you are a blue state and your decision is to ignore the will of the president when he had the popular vote and the electoral college, things like this will only get worse. You can, and I'm not, again, I will not justify what happened. Of course I won't. Innocent people will die for what they believe in. And that's totally, if you want to, fine. But it's not about whether you're a heinous criminal. It's not about whether you've already committed the crime. You're illegally in a country. That's the problem. Now, there is a line where I wish perhaps some consideration could be applied to those who've been there for 20, 30 years. But that's not the ruling. And when it comes to how much power the federal government has, ICE, that is part of that reach they have because of the rules they are now, the powers they're granted. They have the House and the Senate. They have everything at the moment. Until the midterms happen, nothing will change. You can protest it and peacefully, hopefully, but the reality will not be on your side if more people end up getting killed because they've driven into a police officer or an ICE agent, or driven away from, depending on your perspective. There are multiple cameras on that, and I still don't know which one was correct. Or, in this instance, had your gun taken from you and somebody said something which they shouldn't have said to then cause someone to get shot. That was wrong, by the way. I just think, on the face of it, if he'd already had his gun taken from him, you didn't need to shout gun as well.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, genuinely, when you're in that scuffle,
yeah,
if you fuck up, you fuck up. And I believe everybody who was involved in that is put on an administrative leave pending investigation. So
that makes sense.
We'll see what we see.
Yeah, and Marley, you say you can't be illegal on stolen land. I know nothing about that, so I'm not going to be drawn in. Do forgive me. I cannot speak on that particular area. Because if you want to go down that path, then a lot of countries that exist now shouldn't exist. A lot of countries, in fact, shouldn't exist. America as a republic is one of them.
Well, I mean, the way you address the I guess that question at the start is stolen from who?
I
Name
can't
the tribe.
Yeah, so I can't be.
And what year?
Yeah, so I can't be drawn on that because I think if I will take that back to its bare bones, and I can point to every country being stolen. I can do it with countries in the Middle East that have been renamed or extremely brutalized by regimes. I can do it
Mhm.
in China, stealing land off Tibet and trying to control Taiwan and Hong Kong as well by reneging on the 50-year deal they have with us. It
Mhm.
can apply to anyone, anywhere, anytime, and any government with any oppressive regime that exists, and there are many of them still in effect. I will not be drawn on that because the only thing that bothers me is that innocent people, to an extent, innocent, and they didn't deserve to die. No one does.
The only reason why I love getting into that argument is because my wife's Cherokee and I'm Taino.
Yeah,
So I'm Taino, meaning some of the native Mesoamericans.
right.
Cherokee is Cherokee.
I didn't even know that was a.
I love those conversations because I
Hmm.
know damn well that our people fought each other constantly.
I only know of your people because of Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry.
That's fine. But we
Sorry.
fought each other constantly. We stole from each other every chance we
Oh,
could.
really?
The warring factions and warring tribes was a common issue for tribal politics.
Didn't know that. But then war's always been a thing, isn't it?
It's always been a thing. So I highly detest the idea that somehow the natives of the area were somehow like these actual like no borders type folks. This has never been the case. We have always understood territory. It's
Oh,
how we handled hunting and not
yeah.
pissing each other
So
off.
what I'll do is I'll recuse myself from the discussion on the grounds that I'm not American. It's not. I did want to really anyway because it's not my area. I normally let you have your say because it's more important it comes from an American than an Englishman because we conquered the
Mhm.
world and gave it back. There are more
Yeah,
Independence
I
Days
appreciate that.
because of us. So we will happily sit back on that one because it's just easier for us. We're too busy giving away things for free anyway, so it's quite all
No, I
right.
know.
I just I don't I don't like the argue. No offense, and it's not a dig at Mali. Of course, not. I love having you around. Of course, I do. It's just every country is guilty in this respect of stealing from each other, and countries that exist now, I'd say as far back as 20 years ago, wouldn't be a country if we went that because it was stolen land or something. It's just
I mean, you can go into
shit.
the civil wars in Zimbabwe as well if you want to.
Rhodesia. Yes, you're right. I'm not the right guy for that. I wish, I hope a resolution comes. I just want people to be a bit more considerate when they protest and not.
Yeah,
You have to play smart because you know there's a peaceful way of going about it. I don't know the context that led up to the gun being discovered. If he tried to withdraw it on or anything, I don't know.
mm-mm.
If he didn't,
I
then
don't think so.
this got escalated too far too quickly. Of course, and there
I agree.
should be some punishment. Of course, you don't then have to go out your way to dox people. Let the legal system do its job. I know people like to think that the legal system doesn't work, and it probably doesn't work, to be honest. It doesn't in many countries, but we're not the arbiters of that. We vote for the legislators who change that. We don't decide for ourselves what is or is not law.
That's
That's
vigilantism. That's wrong.
unless your name's Batman, you don't get to do that. I'm sure.
Yes, and God forbid anybody tries to start being Batman. Please don't do that. That is a other good way to die.
Yeah, and Oki, if it wasn't for the fact we're literally about to run out of time, I would have gone into that subject next. Because Keir Starmer's met up with Xi Jinping to suck him off. And I'll say this verbatim I do not want the United Kingdom trading or doing deals with any communist regime that openly goes out of its way to harm or oppress its people. I don't give a fuck what you think. China is not a country I want to be dealing with, personally. And
Ye-
yes, he has been sucking them off to get Xi
Him and
Jinping.
Canada both.
Yeah, he wants Xi Jinping to visit us. He wants them to come to the UK when we host a G20 summit next year. I don't really want China to have anything to do with our country, to be honest, because as much as their trade would be good, the country is literally a communist regime. I can't back it. I don't care.
Mhm.
I will not back communism of any kind. It's another reason why I'm so openly, I today was anyway, quite openly against Hassan, because all he ever does is back communists and extremists, and I can't accept it. I swear at this point he's a degree of separation from Nazis, and it's ironic for somebody who likes to call others Nazi how weirdly similar he can be, and I don't like it. My prime minister backing wanting to work with Xi Jinping or bring us closer to them is dangerous, considering how close they are to Russia. I think it's dangerous, but that's just me. We have run out of time, sadly, and that's a shame. I'm curious, are we here next week?
I believe so.
Marvelous.
Let me see, what day is that?
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
It's a possible yes. My nephew has an operation that day, so my dad might be here that night, so we're gonna say yes tentatively. Well, no, it's not that. My dad might be staying here the night. So tentatively, we'll say yes. There's always a chance no. Again, we'll be better prepared next week. We're working things out. I say he's busy, and I pulled some sources just in time. Thank you for joining, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you don't mind. Sometimes there are going to be topics where people are divisive or divided. There's nothing wrong with that. And being passionate about what you believe matters, because it means then I have something to think about. And I like that. I don't always want to agree. I want to listen. And I want to see what you guys say as well. But thank you for joining.
Different opinions.
Sorry? Yeah, it helps. It's
Engaging
healthy.
with different opinions is healthy.
Yeah. Thank you again for joining us, guys, and we will see you hopefully next week. Maybe not. Who knows? I'll keep you posted though. If you're here on this channel tomorrow, I will be doing a lengthier lolcow stream, so hope to